Добрий день.
Good afternoon. I want to thank everybody for joining us in Ukraine Media Center. Ukrinform. It's day 260 of our heroic resistance and fight for our freedom. And now we will be talking about the dictation that we all traditionally write on the day of literacy. I want to introduce our guest. It's Yuliya Sheludko, executive producer of Ukrainian Radio and coordinator of the project Radio Dictator of National Unity. Miss Yuliya, good afternoon. Good afternoon. How was the dictation this year? Can you please tell us what was the number of people joining it? How many people were writing it together with you, with us, this dictation? I hope that this year the radio dictation passed successfully, maybe even very successfully, because many people, in fact, were writing, many people were watching, many people were involved. They were sending and keep sending their letters to us for checking. Many countries joined us throughout the world. We were contacted. We got letters sent to us, sharings on the social networks with the hashtag Dictation 2022, embassies of Ukraine, Ukrainian communities in different countries, because this year we understand many Ukrainians had to leave Ukraine and to get themselves accommodated in other countries where they created some communities, and they were writing radio dictation there because for them is the opportunity probably to communicate with each other, to feel unity with Ukraine thanks to Ukrainian language. This year maybe it was the difference of this Ukrainian dictation. I've seen the pictures of our military joining this dictation. Yes, this year was different from previous years, really, because there is war in Ukraine, and under conditions like this it was difficult to organize an event like this, specifically to organize some locations, because people's security is the number one thing, and we were not able to forecast any air raid alert or that the power would be shut down. So this is why the places where people were about to write the dictations were in the shelters in Chernivtsi, Mykolaiv, Odessa. In Odessa they were writing in catacombs. It's safe, it's several meters under the ground, so a small number of people was invited to get involved, to join the air of the radio dictation. You could see them, but there was a number of locations abroad because they don't have this security issues we're facing. And in the front lines the guys were writing, and we have to give them their due, to thank them. For example, in the moment where they could take a break, relax, or drink tea, they were writing a dictation, and it's very valuable to us. Miss Yuliya, can you please tell us a little bit about the organization of this year's dictation? Can you tell us about the author of this wonderful text? Because starting with the first sentence, tell me about your house, it triggers a lot of Ukrainians now. This year the author was Irina Tsilik, and I want to say for the first time it was a woman, which is very interesting as well. I think it's a very open and very soulful text which moved somebody into tears. And talking about Roman Kolyada, whose house was destroyed by a Russian missile. He couldn't keep his emotions. We have very tense schedule, and for him it was very difficult. For him, he couldn't help himself, but it moved even more people, and Irina very successfully picked the topic. We never tell the authors what to write about. It's their personal choice. We can just ask, for example, to create the text no more than 200 words, so everybody makes it, right in it, but the subject is being picked by the author themselves. So she picked this topic, my house, and it's for those who lost their homes, who live abroad, who had to leave their homes. It's very complicated, it's difficult, they're sad about it. For example, maybe they want to come back, but they have no place to come back to. The most widespread comments I've seen, like the people were writing, we wrote a comment and we were crying, we were in tears. How does the trend change? Do you see more people joining this event with years? Not only joining, not only increasing, but on a large scale. So that people getting involved they keep coming. It's not to check your knowledge, it's just a flash mob to get people united around the language. So it's not only Ukrainians who write the dictation, other people who know Ukrainian of other nationalities, they write it too, those who can speak, who understand it, and it's very valuable for us. And I think that the trend will change further on, but now it's war, and many people who speak Russian, who used to speak Russian, they switched to Ukrainian, started speaking Ukrainian. It was a challenge for them. Maybe it was their first time when they write a dictation, but they did so. And the youth, the bloggers, the TikTokers, within a few years there was more than 1 million watches in TikTok. Dear friends, do you have any questions? Good afternoon. Anastasia Rakuta, Ukrinform. You mentioned that this year many Ukrainians from abroad were writing the dictation. Can you please mention the countries they were involved from, and for how many countries joined? I don't know the number of the countries because we were contacted through social media, through telephone. It's dozens of countries, and I know for sure that it was happening in all continents because people contacted us, sending their pictures. If we gather such information, maybe tomorrow we will be able to give you more detail. At 12:10 tomorrow we will have air with the head of the project, Dmitro Korkin. We will tell you everything that we know as of tomorrow about this radio dictation, because tomorrow at 11 we will post the text of the radio dictation on the website of the radio. So all those who didn't send, or who sent us but they didn't have their examination checked. Another question, please. Svetlana Berezivska, 1+1 TSN. Can you tell us the number of the people who participated last year and this year? Can you say if it was more or less people? I don't know the exact number of the people who participated in radio dictation. Unfortunately, not everybody sends their works, but last year the number of works was a lot less than even as of now, because now it's more than dozens of tens of thousands, but we're waiting for the paper letters that it may come even today, and I understand that it may be a bigger number, which beat all the records that we had previously. What was the last record previously? What was the previous record? We had 10,000, maybe up to 20,000 last year, but this year it's even more. It's only emails. Any more questions? Miss Elena very soulfully read it, but I know that the people who were trying to finish writing the dictation, but they become very sensitive and they didn't make it finish in the dictation. They were not able to listen to it attentively, and there is a story like this year, but I think it's not unique. How did you pick the people who were reading? So how did you pick up Ada Rohovtseva, and how did you pick up the author of the text? We were coordinating it with our committee in Суспільне Radio. We had different ideas. We wanted it to be recognizable persons, interesting to Ukrainian. Ada Rokovtseva is one of the favorites. She's awarded with the Order, the Hero of Ukraine. She's the People's Artist of Ukraine, and she accepted it, which is important to us because it's not always that people can find time in their schedules, or many people left abroad, so it would be it would be impossible. Irina Tsilik is the well-known writer. She's the director, film director, whose movies are known even abroad, not only in Ukraine. So she also accepted our invitation to get involved, and she wrote this wonderful text. So I think this year the choice was wonderful, and we made it. So you get these letters or emails, and then you check them, or it's just for understanding of the number of people? No, this is not a conditional action. These letters and emails are being really checked by a very big committee made of teachers who were located in Kharkiv, but they had to spread around Ukraine and around the world, but they cooperate with us not for the first year, and they check the radio dictation, and they see the number of mistakes, they pick the winners, we match the texts, and we have a lot of trust to them because they're teachers, they're the specialists, the experts. And yes, we even award people with prizes. So do you plan any award with prizes? Yes, I would say that those prizes are mostly symbolic. It's mostly books from our partners and friends, maybe some souvenirs, something interesting, but it's still valuable because when a person wrote this radio dictation in unison with everybody around the world without a single mistake, I think it's very cool, and it's very important for the people like that. When do you plan such an awarding procedure? It's difficult to say because we don't have experience of work with such huge number of letters. So I think maybe in a month, maybe in the middle of December, we will know who's the winner. And we will be able to tell the world about that. Talking about the last year, how many people wrote the dictation without mistakes? Last year we awarded 16 people. One person who wrote without single mistake, it's a teacher from Volyn region. And we gave prizes to those who wrote with one mistake because they were worth it. For example, Miss Christina from Lviv, she wrote 22nd radio dictation. So can you imagine, during the 22 years she keeps writing this radio dictation? She was a previous year winner. So we try to award the people with 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 books, depending on how our partners help us. Friends, maybe you have any questions? No more questions left. I want to thank you, Miss Yuliya. Let's wait for the results and for the winners of the dictation. I hope that there will be a lot of them, even notwithstanding the emotional component which impeded or maybe helped. Yeah, maybe it did help somebody. Yes, thank you. I will remind you, we had Yuliya Sheludko with us, executive producer of Ukrainian Radio and coordinator of the project Radio Dictation of National Unity. Thank you, dear colleagues. Please follow our announcements. We're putting together the schedule of events for tomorrow. Let's believe in our armed forces and work for